Hello, and welcome to our second episode of playing Crusader Kings 3 on the hardest possible rule settings, starting as a custom character in China in 1066. In the first episode, we passed all of our exams, including the palace exam, and now we're really just waiting for an appointment. While also working on building up our estate and continuing to obtain merit by working as a proctor on other local exams. So let's get into it, have a time start, and see what we can get up to. Zooming out here, take a look at the rest of the world. Looks like William the Conqueror is in fact the Conqueror. Currently owns all of England and France. My guess is he'll start peeling off kingdoms in the Holy Roman Empire soon. We are playing with Scourge Conquerors. As you can see from his health, he has the Scourge-of-the-gods trait. And indeed, we're playing with frequent Scourge Conquerors where all their heirs inherit. And so we expect to see a number of Scourge Conquerors across the globe. Let's take a look. And so there is one character here, the Ghaznavids, that starts with Scourge Conqueror. But as you can see, there have been 6 new ones created since then. It's all but the first guy, including Scotland. So that will be somewhat interesting to see the conflict between William and King Malcolm III. Also a Scourge Conqueror in Novgorod. So the Holy Roman Empire is quite surrounded. There aren't as many. Let's see, this Quamdo guy is. So there is one somewhat close to China. As we discussed in the prior episode, for whatever reason, Scourge Conquerors generally don't like attacking a unified China. Maybe they just calculate the military power in terms of looking at the Emperor's own troops, all the military governors that be called in, the Emperor's ability to use the influence to borrow troops from his vassals, and that all just adds up to China being very strong military. That may be why Scourge Conquerors are cautious about attacking China. In the event, let's continue on, and we'll see if that general trend holds, or perhaps if this game will be different and we'll see more aggressive Scourge Conquerors attacking China. Here's another local exam. We'll head out there to assist the exams. So Gardner, very strong trait. Be good to get it. We didn't. Continue on. As explained in the last episode, we are playing as a stewardship character instead of what could be considered a more traditional learning character for China. We were able to pass all of our exams as this character. You see our learning is quite high, even though we have a stewardship education focus. For now, we're continuing to focus on merit. I think once we get to the 3rd rank, I'll start focusing more on influence, in the hope that despite our somewhat slow progress in getting another posting here, that we'll be able to progress relatively quickly after that and end up eventually being a minister. If you are a minister, there's quite powerful things you can do with influence, but you need to have a lot of it. You need to be the max level in rank of influence, and also need at least 5,000 and really even more in terms of influence stored up. So early in the game in China, I really want to focus on merit, but then as we get merit. I'm going to switch to focusing on influence. What I'm hoping here is if we pass the 4th rank, get into the 3rd, where 3rd, 2nd, and 1st, those are really only available to people that have passed the palace examination. I would hope there are far fewer that are 3rd rank or higher, and at that point we'd get another appointment, if not before then. So fine with supporting this guy's career. It does cost us a little bit of influence, but nothing too significant. Trying to earn as much gold as we can and slowly improve our estate. Another local exam. So we talked about one of the rules that we were playing on is very hard difficulty. That both increases the amount of gold the AI gets while also decreasing the cost of activities such as local examinations. So on this setting, one of the silver linings is that the AI does hold activities quite frequently. So here I usually look to either go mustering and then inspection really for the domain taxes, or well prepared, primarily for the travel safety. Don't need mercenary contacts, and I think let's go with well prepared. China does tend to get hit with a lot of plagues that can reduce control, make some areas more dangerous, so having a little bit more safety helps. Plan on completing the wealth tree because again, we want as much gold as possible. I think it's a bit interesting to what extent do we want to go down the architect tree. If you don't want to go on the architect tree, then we can switch over to learning and fill out the scholar tree. Question about building in our domain is obviously we only hold those domains temporarily, and so the advantages of having a maxed out domain counties in terms of them having a lot of buildings simply is not as great. In our prior game, you saw when we had our first 2 characters who were both stewardship focused, they had filled out the architect tree, which was very powerful because that allowed them to build a lot of economic buildings in our domain counties, and we used that foundation to eventually expand our realm, take over the Holy Roman Empire, and eventually refound the Roman Empire. It was really all based on that foundation of our domain and the income we were getting from it. But here, of course, you can expect to switch your domain every 5 years, so the benefit of building buildings just as long as great. It does still provide you with merit whenever you complete a building, and also during the time when you're in a particular province, duchy, kingdom / circuit, you'll get income from the buildings that you do build, so it's still helpful. I'm guessing I'll probably go down the architect tree, but it's less of an obvious choice than if we were feudal or clan and having a stewardship education. Okay. So we talked about before, I generally like doing the free inspection. One thing we haven't looked at, but probably should, is our house aspiration. Currently we're on integrity. So you can see we do get some benefits from the inspection activity because of our house aspiration. I often don't spend a lot of influence on improving my house aspiration until I have a lot more of it, especially when you become a minister. You can get a lot, depending on your position, the exact position you hold as a minister, you can get a lot of influence by contributing to great projects. But really that's all in the future. As for now, we'll just stay at level 1 and hopefully we'll continue to progress our career and eventually become a minister when we can take some of those decisions. Okay, so we are down here. We are holding a duchy title. This temple should be handed out to a crown priest. Check here, extort subjects. This looks like we do have a couple subjects down here. We are going to be quite far away from the capital, but doesn't really matter since we don't have to come back to the capital for exams or any other reason, unless we wanted to. Now our characters are going to travel all the way down to our new lands. At that point, the first thing we'll do is to hold an inspection, see if we can increase our salary in gold, and then just continue earning merit, increasing our gold, building up our estate, and trying to prove our merit for our next appointment. Ideally a king level tier appointment, circuit level in the Chinese nomenclature. Upgrade our prefect's office here to increase our stewardship lifestyle experience, among other benefits. Develop our capital, which you see actually gives us some merit in addition to the standard benefit. Obviously does generate quite a bit of stress, but we will drink tea now, get rid of much of that stress. Extort our subjects for more gold. Always want more gold. There's our inspection. Inspect our own county here. Max out inspection since there's no cost to it. So here, especially because we're only going to hold these lands for a little time, I can always take the middle option, which gives you the maximum amount of gold. We want to improve the bureaucracy. We're civilians, so having levies really doesn't help us much. Here we'll take this option for the stress loss and a little bit more treasury. Let's look to see what we can build in these places. And I almost always go for improved taxes here. The other option is the second one, which improved development is fine, but you normally don't see the benefits of development because, again, you're going to move on to another posting. All taxes you get to see immediately, so usually go taxes. See, we're making much more monthly income than we were previously. Unfortunately, with an inconclusive inspection, we do get a little bit of a salary bump, but if we had succeeded fully, we'd get a plus 20% instead. So, less than ideal, but we still get some benefit from it. we will wait until we get to the 3rd rank, then we'll resume appointments. So this is quite a lengthy trip, but not really doing anything else at the moment. Give us some travel experience and obviously some merit, other benefits from assisting in the capital examination that we passed previously. So might as well head out. Get a 225 treasury. I think we'll have enough to build another building. So we'll look here and see. Yep. That reminds me, we might also well look to see what kind of wise we can get here. Ideally, we're looking for a genius. We could also have an intelligent one. Do see there is an option for an intelligent wife there. We're not that old yet. I think maybe wait a little bit longer, see if we can have a kingdom level tier title as our next posting, and hopefully then we'll be able to get the genius wife we're looking for. Upgrade our rice field. We're really making a good bit of gold now. We want to max out our estate, be making as much gold, merit, and influence as possible. I think here let we get a good chunk of influence here, so we'll take this cruel option. A lot of these events don't give the opportunity for influence, so start taking it now when we can get it. So this option really is either piety or prestige. We have less prestige, so let's go for that. We're very close to hitting the 3rd rank of merit. Take this option that does not give us stress. Of course, at any cost is quite powerful in terms of general gold increase from your domain. Also being able to sell trivial titles. Doesn't get us too much gold at the moment, but still hundreds a decent amount. Can invest that back into our estate. Certainly not going to go for the top option and has an unacceptably high risk of maiming ourselves. There we are, a traveler. Don't think we can do anything to... Oh, I guess we could. Here it seems like your lieges are very willing for you just to improve all the aspects of your contract. They don't really push back. It's quite odd. but beneficial when you're playing in China. So we will take all these steps that give us more prestige, more benefits here, also more salary and treasury budget. Again, we'll stay with higher ambitions. We are now at the 3rd rank. So we are eligible to become a minister, though I expect that's still going to be a couple decades from now. Don't think we really need any building materials. Handle it ourselves. Deal with this governance issue. Go with the top trait, top decision option. Gives more governor experience. Sell titles. Resume new appointments we talked about earlier, in case we can get a king level title now. Let's check how much a university visit would cost. So it looks like about $550 to do it with high study materials, so ways away from that. Don't really care about giving hooks to these people because, again, we'll be moving on in a few years. We do want to keep building buildings for the merit. So you get a decent amount of merit for each building you build, as well as some experience in the governor trait. This is a sort of odd event in terms of the reaction. Chinese culture obviously values poetry, encourages you to become a poet. You think becoming known as the poet would be a beneficial event, but it seems like it's considered to be a negative event, causes you to spend some prestige. I'm guessing at some point that'll be changed, but it is what it is for now. Another governance issue we can take care of here. That goes to the top one. Get a decent amount of influence. Thing we could do is consider holding a local examination, except that would cost treasury. Cost more treasury than we have, unfortunately, so I think let's hold off on that. We are making a decent amount of treasury as well as our own personal gold income. The benefit really to holding a local examination, we do get some merit. We also get a very nice chunk of renown if we take the right intent. Also, sometimes one of the ministers will allow you to hold a free local examination in exchange for a little bit of influence, but at least right now we don't get that option. Attend this debate. Should give you opportunity for some influence. Let's take the option that loses the stress. Usually things are fine with this middle option, but I think let's play it safe and go with the bottom one despite the stress. Okay, we just got some new lands. Come with a significant increase in our monthly income, so that's good. Though we don't not making this treasury, which not as big of a deal. So we'll spend a little bit of influence to improve the appointment score of, I believe this is our, not sure if this is a disciple, it might be our movement leader. Again, usually doesn't matter too much which of these. I guess we will, since this guy is part of our movement, pro song movement, we'll side with him. Just do want to side with one of them to get that stewardship experience. We'll go with influence here. We'll try to increase the movement power here, which we did. Did get a rival, which isn't great necessarily. Obvious risk, at least in other places, that your rival tries to murder you. Seems to happen a bit less in China, but still a concern. Earlier we talked about going up to scholarly circles, primarily get more learning, so we would better be able to pass exams. Obviously that's no longer a concern. So really could go up Grand Preceptor. We could try to go away the whole of body, become healthier, live longer. I think that might be the correct way to go. We could spend more time in the minister positions the longer we live. Let's check on our council, make sure we have a relatively good censor / spymaster in place, just in case our new rival does decide to come after us. See, we gained a bit of influence there, which is helpful. Once we complete this journey, then we'll head out to our new lands, which might as well see where they are. It's another duchy title, but a quite good one here. Same event. Make the same choice. Cure our entourage member. Again, we now have avaricious, which is quite good. Let's see if we can get. Okay, we'll get the support for local examination we talked about earlier. Get some more gold from this hook. Continue onward. I think given that we do have a rival, let's hire a couple of guardsmen. Just try to keep us safe here. Let's also hire chief administrator to improve our court. Make that automatic. Continue on. Don't really want to steal gold and get a secret. I think hopefully we have enough money to go to university now. I think what we'll do first is hold that local examination. Talked about before, pretty much always want to do favoritism because it gives you a large chunk of renown. So it doesn't really matter that I don't have any family members. I still want to show favoritism to whoever. I think instead of building on our estate, we'll wait until our exam is complete, go to university, and then proceed from there. Courtier getting married. So here's the event that gives us renown. Should give us a dynasty legacy. We will go with noble veins. Again, having good genetic traits, particularly good intelligence. Genetic traits, just incredibly powerful. A character that's intelligent or genius is just much stronger than one that isn't. See, we get a number of benefits from the examination on top of that. Making a ton of merit, much more merit than we did in the other place, so I wasn't sure whether it was a great idea to resume new appointments and end up in this new duchy, but certainly with the amount of merit we're making, I think that makes sense. And we do have a little bit of stress. If I could drink tea, I would like to do that, but looks like it's on cooldown. Okay, so you can see there that the issue is because we are the regent, the diarch, we're supposed to stay within the realm, so unfortunately it doesn't look like we can go to university now. We're not in an entrenched regency, this is temporary, so I'm assuming whenever our liege comes back, then we'll be able to go on a university visit. Try an inspection. Okay, we can still hold it for no cost, so definitely do that. Hope this one will go more successfully than the last one. Even though it's probably not going to succeed, I think our best chance here, best option is to go for the first one. Fortunately, it didn't work. Did lose some stress. To improve taxes, as discussed earlier, it gives us an immediate benefit instead of development, which is very powerful, but its benefits take a long time to manifest. Here we did fully succeed, so we get a lot more taxes, greatly improved salary, all quite beneficial things. See that we're up to 25 gold a month, which is great. Probably a lot more than we'd be making in Europe. Looks like we're no longer the regent, so I believe we should now be able to go to university. Go over here since it has more stars. I think that means you're more likely to do well. It's quite expensive, but worth it. It's probably going to be with this character for another 50 years. If he can become a 5-star stewardship education, that will help us in the long run. So one of our courtiers got smallpox. Which, okay, we can see it is spreading. Our characters actually already had smallpox and survived it, so he should be immune, but is a concern for everyone else. Now the region again, but again I assume that's just a temporary regency, so not much in the way of benefits. Here, 99% chance of success, so easy decision. Well, we have a stewardship education. We do have quite a high learning, so take whatever increases our studiousness here. See, we are above our domain holding limits because of the playing on the hardest possible rules. We have domain limit -3 for player only, otherwise it would be 4 or 5. There's probably some argument that it might be worth giving away 1 or even 2 of our holdings to reduce this penalty. We might, when we get back to our holdings, give away 1 and see what the effect is on our gold income. %74% chance is pretty good. We'll give it a shot. Gives a massive benefit in studiousness if we succeed, which we did. Hopefully we'll get 1 more good event and be able to get all the way up to tier 4, perfect studies. That's, well, not quite. I thought that would get us there, but we're very close. If we could just get 1 more good event. There we go. So we've done as well as we could. And there we go. We got the Golden Sovereign trait. Very powerful. So it gives us another domain limit. We get plus 25% vassal taxes. Of course, we get stewardship lifestyle experience. But we also get learning lifestyle experience. And most likely, once we've got as many stewardship perks as we want, we'll move to lifestyle next. Might as well get another courtier. So we also increased our stewardship by 1. So we should really now have an extremely strong stewardship there. Do get this journal that we might as well equip as well. It's diplomacy lifestyle experience, which is not immediately useful, but could be in the future. Here, I think again, let's get prestige, since we have less prestige than piety. Train for a tournament, even though our prowess is quite poor. Still could be useful at some point. I think we'll stay in this appointment for a while. So we have a lot of activities we could go to. I think the debate would be most useful at this point, since it's the one that's most likely to give the most influence. So let's do that. Keep becoming and then losing regent because of our liege traveling. Guess let's see if we become a reveler, but we don't. We don't have an elder. That's okay. There are easier ways to get an elder. look into that. Because we're paying from the treasury, it's our own gold here, might as well do it. And this guy is from our movement, so we might as well side with him. Upgrade our manor, which is good. Takes a lot of gold, but we're making quite a bit of gold now. Perhaps soon we'll start holding our own debates and try to become the leader of the pro-song movement. See, we got 90 total influence there, though advancement became the favored movement. One of the things we should do here is promote ourselves, increase our candidacy for our next position. Deal with this. Okay. Deal with this governance issue. See how much governor experience we have. We could still use more. So I think let's do the first one. It's governor experience plus influence, so both things that we need. So yes. Thinking I want to do a grand tour, but okay, I guess we can do a grand tour. I just hadn't set the notification on. I was wondering about whether we could do a grand tour because we are a duke. I couldn't remember whether it required you to be a king level title. Yep, so I think we go ahead and do this grand taxation tour, see if we can get more gold. I guess we'll leave these where they are. We could use some more prestige, particularly we want to sell trivial titles to get more gold, and that costs a lot of prestige, 500 each pop, so it's worthwhile to get some prestige. Have to see if we can get to taxation tour success level 4. You can see that gives 150 renown, among other benefits. Again, very powerful. Want all the renown I can get. Lose some stress. Got another trinket somehow. Maybe this is the way. I think I'd just rather have the 80 gold. It's not really that useful to me. Could be useful to an heir, but it'll be durability will be 0 by the time any heir takes over, so we'll just destroy it. And no need to give him anything. Let's look at our, okay, so we're still building in our estate. Also be building in our current domain. Again, focus on economic building, so we're making the most gold we can. Also, you can see our merit, which is continuing to increase, is based largely on the taxes we pay. So the more taxes, the more merit. We'll go here with maximizing the amount of gold we get. Normally I would always want to go with the top option, but obviously downside is we're 3/4 of the time we get wounded, which isn't ideal. I think might as well give it a try. We got lucky. And always good to get more renown. Dynasty legacies are very powerful. This is a tough decision because of the high amount of stress. We do have a few more stops. Each stop should reduce my stress, so I think let's do it. Regular tribute here. I think we'll go for inspection. Obviously, we already have the ability to hold inspections, but the domain taxes are helpful. We'll let this child go. I guess the execution is in fact unjust, and that's why it would cause us so much stress. Certainly don't want to have a mental break or something like that. We'll conduct the census, get some more treasury, noble tutoring, and more lifestyle experience. Certainly happy to have that. Yes, we get more noble tutoring. I assume they don't stack. We'll get another stewardship lifestyle perk. No real reason to play with this woman. We did lose a bodyguard, so we'll replace him. I think we will automate our bodyguards as well. Take the option to reduce stress, and we did get some skill improvements, at least temporary ones. Not sure because of that skip stop there that we're going to make it to level 4, but do our best here. Get to see what opportunities we get with this guy. Again, I usually don't. Yeah, this has, we'll obviously go at the bottom, just too much stress and the risk of losing a lot of gold. I think we'll just have this guy join us. Causes our vassal to lose some opinion, but don't really care. This vassal's temporary and unlikely to rebel against us. Don't need any breaches. We won't do the window tax because of the amount of stress involved. Guessing we're not going to make it to level 4, but oh well. Yeah, we just missed it, unfortunately. Oh, well, I guess we still get quite a bit of renown. Generate lease, show more vassal tax contribution. Very beneficial. Our scheme to promote ourselves is at 95%, so we can go ahead and complete that. And we'll investigate this governance issue. I think we just get the merit here. We're at very low level of stress, so don't need to drink tea. Do want to extort our subjects, especially since they're temporary. Let's get some more treasury revenue. Again, might as well get as much gold as we can here. We can upgrade our estate again, which is good. See, now we do have quite a bit of gold. One obvious problem with pinning all these activities is sometimes they do push off important ones to the side. So you have to right click on some of them to get them out of the way and see if there are activities you can join. Again, doing this really now for the influence. See, we're now at the second rank of merit, so I've done extremely well. I assume we'll hit the first rank before age 40 or so. Our elder can no longer mentor us because he's also at the second rank merit. We don't have options to obtain more merit. We don't have options to obtain influence, then we'll still go with merit. And here, not really many options for influence. The issue now is that the merit really isn't that high compared to the amount we're making just from our position. Obviously 100 a month. But that said, every bit helps us to get faster, to get to rank 1, which is what we'll need for any realistic opportunities to become a minister. And depending on exactly what minister post we get, we'll look to see what great projects we can do. I think at this point, I really do want to seriously look at finding a wife. Again, it's really not a great option here. There's only one intelligent woman and she's a bit older. Let's see if there's anyone that we can seduce. By seducing someone, depending on exactly what their willingness is, you can bring them into your court and make them your concubine. But once again, there really aren't any good options. I think we wait a bit longer. Again, as a Chinese character, part of Han culture is that you get an extra 5 years of life expectancy, as well as reduced elder traits. You can see that elder health traits, I should say. You can see that here. So we have a little bit more time than we would if we were playing as a character in Europe, but we are starting to get a bit older. Do want some adult children by the time we die. No reason to risk that by not having them. So we'll see if we can wait until he has 50 gold, pay off the entire thing. Let's hold a debate. So I wanted to hold a debate to become the movement leader, but he's traveling, so let's just hold the imperial debate. Reason for the debate really is we want to increase our influence as much as possible. We have the gold and are making gold, so we'll hold a maxed out debate. We'll do increased movement power. And you're really looking to prevail in the debate, but also looking for as much influence as we can obtain. So obviously a bit unfortunate there. So I guess one thing we should consider doing is challenging the status of other houses and seeing if we can get some more influence that way. Try to find people who are not pro-song, and also who might not be about to die soon. This guy is conservative movement, so that's caused us to progress toward tension. I think let's try it, see how it goes. We don't have a lot of people joining us. Don't know that I want to spend a whole lot of money on these challenge status schemes. We'll let this run up till we get to 20 advantages and fire it. And if it works, great. If not, not a big deal. I don't normally use those schemes, but it's something is thinking that if we can get influence that way, that's quite beneficial, because again, we really want to get as much influence as we can at this point. We're going to want a whole lot of influence when we hopefully become a minister. Take that option. It's a very high chance of success. Get more movement power. So, 100% automatic major increase our chance of success because we have the maximum Confucian education trait, so that's an easy one. Here, just looking at the highest percentage chance, which clearly is the middle. So we succeeded. See, Pro Song became favored movement. We also got 250 influence, as well as 350 prestige, so all good stuff. Actually says we got even more prestige. Looks like we did. We got another level of influence. I think we need 2 more levels to get to the maximum. We can really start doing some interesting stuff when we become a minister. Looks like this is our only option for an elder. Okay, a bit odd why that appears in our tips when we can't take it. It's someone else's. I think let's hold the inspection for merit, gold, so forth. Probably also look at our buildings here, see what else we want to build. Again, really focusing on economic buildings. Give us more taxes, give us more merit. Since we're using treasury here, the treasury doesn't come with us, of course, so might as well spend as much of it as we can. So for this one, might as well do the middle, advanced development, which probably won't benefit us because development's really a long run thing, but still might provide some positives. Okay, excellent. So here you see we just became the Intendant of a circuit. So hopefully the next stage after this will be becoming a minister. I think we'll still pick free inspection activity as our bonus there. See, we get another domain limit, so we're at 5 of 4, which for this rule set isn't too bad. I very frequently play either 1 or even 2 of the domain limit. See here we get these benefits from our inspection. Have to admit, I'm not sure if they carry over to our new lands, but we'll head over there. blood tree so that whenever we do have children, which we again really need to start thinking about, they'll have the max amount of chance of having positive genetic traits. I like to focus on finishing the governor's office, because this one you can actually only build when you're holding titles, landed titles, and so I think that's worth doing now. I mean, you get to keep the stewardship building even if you become unlanded, such as your heir or whatever takes over. But the issue is that to begin the building you need to be landed, so let's do it now. That's a lot of gold. I think we have techniques to get rid of our stress, so let's just take the gold from them. Doesn't really matter how long it takes to get there. What's our little artifact here, trinket? I mean, I do kind of like it for the monthly merit gain. I think we'll decline. We have a quite large amount of treasury here. Keep building buildings, increase our merit, increase the amount of gold we're getting. Taxes and other benefits. I think we talked about before, we want to see if our liege will give us a better contract, because they are often remarkably willing to do so. We're already metropolitan, which is a special kind of contract, which means we get just a ton of merit for the taxes we paid our liege. So certainly stay with that. We will try to increase our treasury and our governor's salary. And again, we'll be able to do that without any pushback. It's a bit odd, but we are in very good shape. Drink tea to lose some of our stress. Probably stay here a while. Don't need to resume new appointments. Looks like we do only have 3 vassals, a couple dukes and a count. Don't really need to do anything at this point with our military. I'm surprised. Okay, interesting. Surprised we could raise that many military, raise that many regiments, and that's quite a few, particularly given that we're a civilian governor. I do think at this point we have the budget and the land's worth moving our estate. Partly just so it's easier to see when we need to build buildings in our estate. Continue to try to get influence, if not influence, merit in local exams. Now see, we're just making it just a gigantic amount of merit a month. Early in the game, I think we were making under 10 merit. Now we're making almost 400 a month. We'll be at rank 1 in no time. Once we do hit rank 1, I might resume new appointments in the hope that we get a ministerial appointment. Let's promote ourselves. Well, it's taking quite a long time for us to get any advantages there. I think we just abandoned that scheme. The challenging status scheme was an interesting idea, but I think it just doesn't work with his character. Might be intrigue based. And our Our intrigue is quite terrible here. This middle option to get the influence. We'll max out this building, which obviously has a lot of benefits for candidate score, as well as monthly stewardship lifestyle experience, governor efficiency, so a lot of benefits there. We'll still get merit, but we don't have other options. So we're very soon reaching the point where our merit is going to be maxed out. And there we go. So now that we are at the absolute highest rank of merit, there's no reason to do higher ambitions. It's a stress gain. So we'll go with the second option. Lose a little bit of stress, and more importantly, lose the modifier that increases our stress. Now we're actually under our domain limit. We'll take the risk of the rivalry, get more gold. Can always use more gold. And we talked at the beginning of the first episode about how even on this rule set, the hardest possible rule set, there isn't really that much difference in playing in China between this hell mode rule set and playing on normal rules. And I think you kind of can see that here, that we're advancing quite quickly. We have tons of gold, other characteristics that are quite beneficial, and it hasn't been anywhere near as challenging in terms of our decision making as our first foray using this rule set as a Duke of Bohemia. As we talked about before, the reason I'm doing this is I did want to start out with some of the easiest starts to sort of familiarize people with this rule set. Then as I go on and do more and more playthroughs, they'll progressively get harder. I think you can argue that for the rule set we're playing on, that China is actually the easiest place to do it. Because really often the only real challenge is when the realm splits. Then there's a real risk that a scourge conqueror comes in and wants to conquer the individual kingdoms in China and reassemble China by seizing the mandate of heaven. Well, of course, if you're the character, you probably want to do that yourself. But you can see with our gold here, we're set up quite well. Really what we want to do very long term is just have as much gold as we can. Then when China does divide, we will try to put it together by hiring as many mercenaries as possible. Mercenaries are very expensive. One of the aspects of playing on the very hard difficulty is that mercenaries become cheaper for the AI, more expensive for the player, so we'll want as much gold as we can. We could also think about building up our own army, but we're quite a ways away from hitting division. We're still in the advancement era, not even halfway toward tension. So I'm guessing this this character will not make it all the way to the first division, but instead it'll have to be one of his heirs who handles that. So we want to set up our heir to be in good a shape as possible. Of course, talk about heirs, that means we want to have an heir, and just not seeing anyone really that I'd want to marry. I mean, this is the only woman we have who is intelligent. She does have fairly high skills, even though she has a couple of negative traits. At this point, I think let's avoid doing something that could cause a game over. We will marry her. We apparently you have very low chance of romancing her, so I guess might as well not do that. Instead, she'll just be with us. I think so. We've accomplished quite a bit here, and now we are have a king level title. I think we'll call the episode here. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope to see you again in the next one. Thanks very much. Bye.